of Jeremiah. He was called the weeping prophet. And here he expressed and enumerated his painful experiences as a prophet of the Lord. Okay? Imagine that. Even the prophet of the Lord has these kinds of problems and pains, maybe more than we have ever experienced in our lives. Imagine, he's the prophet of the Lord and he has this kind of pains in his life. Now, if you look at it, in chapter 3 of the book of Lamentations, Jeremiah the prophet enumerated his pains and problems and sufferings. Okay? But these experiences caused him to put his hope in the Lord all the more. Now let me just read in verse number 19, he said here, Lamentations chapter 3, after enumerating all the pains and the sufferings he has from verses 1 to verse number 18, he said here in verse number 19, I remember my affliction and my wandering. He remembered all of those sufferings and afflictions in his life, the bitterness and the gall. Ito parang abdo, liver. Liver. Tama, no? Liver yung mapait.
Ha?
Ay, sorry.
Liver is atay.
Ay, atay. Yung abdo, ano yung abdo? Vile. Vile. Okay. Okay, so, he has experienced this very vilest experience, no, that he can ever have in his life. Very mapait, no, na experience in his life. And so, he remembered all of these things. And in verse number 20, he said, I will remember them. He said, I will always remember them. And my soul is downcast within me. Okay? The moment he remembers all what God has done for them, God caused them to suffer. God caused them all these pains and sufferings in their lives. And Jeremiah said, when I remember all of these things, my soul is downcast within me. I am very much discouraged. Why in the world the God of Israel would let us experience such kind of experience? Nothing in the world happened in the people of the world, no, like this of the Israelites. And that's why Jeremiah, when he thought of these things, their sufferings, he was very discouraged. Maybe to us, we have experienced such, no, before. Oh Lord, why is it we have this experience? And whenever we thought of the problems we have before, no, sometimes we cannot thank God, no, kasi yung mukha natin, no, all of our faculty, no, in our bodies are downcast, discouraged. Sometimes we don't have an energy to go to the church. Why? And to fellowship. Why? Because of the problems that we have. No. And this the very experience, or maybe more experience that Jeremiah has, but he said here in verse number 20, I will remember them, and my soul is downcast within me. But he said in verse number 21, yet, he said, this I call to mind. I am, meaning he said, I am encouraging my mind, he said, and therefore I have hope. Imagine that. Seeing all the afflictions and the pains and experiences they had, he was discouraged. But even in the midst of his discouragement, one thing he was doing was that he said here in verse number 21, I call this to my mind and therefore I have hope. He was not encouraged because of the pains and the sufferings he has, but he was encouraged because here in verse number 22 he said, why is it that even in the midst of sufferings, in the midst of pain, in the midst of afflictions, he still have this courage, the fiber to move on and to stand up and say, I have hope. Why? Because he said this in verse number 22, because the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. They are new every morning, great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for Him. Now in these very short verses that Jeremiah has uttered, let me give you 3 reasons why we need to celebrate God, no, in the midst of sufferings, okay? In the midst of pains, amidst trying times. I know that you are here this afternoon, you are just smiling. Whenever I crack a joke, maybe you're smiling. Smiling, maybe your smile reaches your ears, I do not know. But you still have problems. And maybe this afternoon is your trying times. The trying times of your life. But let me encourage you and say this to you, you still have a reason to rejoice. You still have a reason to celebrate the goodness of the Lord.